Hello, 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 and welcome to the show at Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive wiki news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between. I am your host, James J., starring Kaliko Yachts, who is not here, Mitch Mayhem, who is also not here, and returning from being missing for 1 week, Scooter Dust.
Like a scrotum, here it is in a nutshell.
Now, last week you were supposedly missing. Now Kaliko and Mitch is missing. I kind of feel like you have something to do with it.
Wait, did I laugh out loud?
Yes. I literally LOL'd.
Pretend you didn't hear that.
That's a great day for wrestling.
Shut up, Mitch. I'll slap you.
Is that Mitch or Kaliko?
I don't know. I think me saying "shut up, Mitch" might give you an indication that it's Kaliko.
I thought you said shut up, bitch.
No. Well, is there a difference? Oh,
That's a porn.
Oh, my side. Ooh.
You know, every week when we record these shows, I kind of always think next week there's nothing's possibly going to happen this week that's going to be newsworthy. It's going to be a slow.
God.
It's going to be a slow news week. I don't know what we're going to talk about, and leave it to wrestling.
Yeah. You want to know how duped I felt by this week that I actually decided, spur of the moment, to get on the air to do a live impromptu remix because I bought into the hype. Or actually, no, technically, no. I bought into the ridiculousness that the WWE was peddling on Monday night. Because I thought it, once again, was going to be something so bad, it would be hilarious.
Well, it wasn't going to be the first thing on our news chart, but since you brought it up, Shane McMahon returned this Monday with a new segment of Raw called Raw Underground.
Hey, rule number one.
You
don't talk about Raw Underground.
Scooter, talk about Raw Underground.
Well, it's run by a guy named Tyler Durden. No, what in the... Okay, now I'm convinced Vince is stuck in some sort of like perennial time loop.
You're
in fact,
convinced?
I am now convinced that Vince McMahon is Dr. Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap. But he keeps going to the same damn time periods over and over. That's why we keep seeing repeats of the same shit. Like, okay, Raw Underground, oh boy, a Fight Club, Brawl for All 2020, Bruce Pritchard is probably creaming his pants. But, like, seriously, like, when all it really was, it was just a way to debut Baba Tunde, who's now going by Sabacato, Kato, Kabasato, Kabawawa, Bumbawawa, I don't know.
You know, it's pretty bad when you don't know the proper pronunciation.
It's like Sabacato or something. Like, it's like, just call him Baba Tunde. That was an awesome name.
I mean, it's a lot easier to say too.
But then you have like the actor Obababatende, and then I guess people get confused. But I don't know. But and then the whole idea of anybody can walk in at any time, and somehow and then Dolph Ziggler was just like working out his frustrations,
Right.
and uh, it's just uh, I just don't know. It wasn't hilariously bad. It was just bad.
Yeah. Pretty much. You know,
And yeah,
it's kind of funny that they're running an underground fight club, maybe drug ring, prostitution ring, at the performance center, but
like
no,
I thought when I saw Zelina Vega, I'm like, oh god, Shane bought Lucha Underground, didn't he? And I'm thinking Dario Cueto must be rolling over in his grave, despite
you know,
being a fictional character.
this had to have been a spur of the moment decision. I didn't know
Well,
Shane McMahon was going to be on the show until that afternoon. I got an email.
yeah,
Um,
he was announced that day the that morning for Raw, and like and they just bring him on, and they make it seem like this Raw Underground thing has been happening while Raw has been going on, and oh, they're gonna be on at 10 o'clock as if maybe this is gonna be our third hour of Raw. No, it's just a segment because they just happen to have like an extra ring set up without any ropes.
well, first hearing about Raw Underground, it kind of brought me back to like the Raw is War second hour of Raw. Back in like '98, I think '99. Well,
You know, well,
that well, the second hour was going to be more edgier, more crosswords because it was on at a later date, a later hour. And do you see them possibly doing that in the third hour as we go along, as we work out the kinks? Or do you think it's just going to be more of what we saw on Monday?
I don't think Raw Underground is gonna go anywhere except flat on its ass. It's like they, you know, you probably shouldn't do something like that on a night where you're promising that some huge mysterious faction is going to show up and potentially change the landscape of the show.
Before we
Now,
get into that new faction, uh, wrapping up the Raw Underground, I think the most over thing of Raw Underground is those Raw dancing girls, right?
yes, the tasteful strippers.
Yeah,
The 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 least scantily clad strippers I've ever seen. They may as well have been Amish.
hey, they were more over than the guys in the ring. I, I think my tweet about them was my highest viewed tweet to date.
Um, I and it seemed like Shane just kind of like didn't really like have any interest. This was like almost like the ultimate act of the trust fund baby. I'm a rich guy. I'm a rich guy from New England, so I'm gonna make you. I'm gonna pay you, and you're gonna fight like Mandingo warriors.
If this was actually a Shane McMahon idea, I could see why he's giving the company to Stephanie.
No, this had Bruce Pritchard written all over it.
You think Bruce Pritchard? I think Vince McMahon.
Bruce wanted the Brawl for All back in some way, shape, or form.
I don't. I don't think so. He hated Brawl for All. A lot of people did.
He wanted the legitimacy of, and like in a, that, and to be quite honest, the closed confines of the Performance Center in the way the world is today, it kind of makes the optimal location. Now, does that mean it should happen? No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
but God, it's like okay, I think I have a better analogy. It's like Shane broke into some other person's house, had a party, and then left the last people there to take the fall. Based on
Interesting analogy.
what he did at the end of the night. Just like, oh, you guys can show up anytime. Here's the mic. I'm out of here.
Yeah, it seemed like Shane McMahon had no value in this segment, honestly. In the whole show, I was waiting for him to maybe actually explain what Raw Underground was or why they were doing it, and he just acted like a glorified referee the whole night. It's a little disappointing. Something else that's very disappointing was the debut of a new group on Raw. It's called Retribution, and they drew
A Molotov cocktail.
yeah at stage equipment.
Generator.
Yeah,
and
that was their big debut.
right now, all we know is that it's 4 guys and a woman.
Right.
Because you could definitely hear a female or a very high pitched male. I'm not sure.
No, you could tell that one of them was a woman.
I mean, like, and what I had to wonder about those power outages. They did have the hurricane going through, or at least the remnants of the hurricane. But when Kevin Owens made that remark to the Iconics, that seemed like to be a little bit too perfectly improvised.
Right.
It just.
I mean, it seems like Kevin Owens doesn't really stick to the script. He does a lot of off the cuff stuff.
I mean, that's quite honestly, that's a good thing.
It makes him more interesting than what's on the shows.
And I mean, there were some good parts to to Raw. I mean, Samoa Joe finally remembering what it's like to be a badass.
Right.
Instead of a guy, in a suit. I gotta say though, Tom Phillips looks like he suffered shell shock.
Yeah, the WWE commentators booth has been suffering for maybe the last 5 years now.
And people were wondering, oh, who's gonna be Seth's new voice? I'm like, yes, finally the return of Gil Madden. No.
Gil Madden's not with WWE anymore, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't kill the dream, James.
For a second, I thought he was that.
Yeah, I thought Dio was the guy that jumped in during Raw Underground.
Right. Yeah.
The dreadlocks. I really thought that too.
I thought so too. Same here. I thought for sure that was the old man. But,
I, yeah.
going back to Retribution, when we first got our first glimpse of them, I swear to God, I thought they were the ninjas.
Yep, I thought they were cute as hell as ninjas.
Yeah, clearly, there's a lot of kinks that need to be worked out going forward with Raw and Raw Underground. Um, you know what?
Uh,
Yeah,
it's a little bit of a personal stake in Raw because for the past 2 weeks, and I don't know how I missed it, but the man responsible for training me now has a running storyline on Monday Night Raw.
I'm going to take a collective guess and say that's the guy that got beat up by Nia Jax.
Pat Buck.
Any
One of the
relation to the
hard,
Young Bucks?
no, but Pat Buck was a buck before being a buck was cool.
Well, there you go.
In fact, he was so cool he was a $1.50.
Couldn't get to that
But
$2.
he, you know, first of all, Pat Buck was furloughed. In fact, he was one of the first people to be furloughed. So, surprised to see him get unfurloughed, and him of all people, because, and I said this on Twitter, God bless Pat Buck, because Pat Buck, the guy doesn't exude charisma on the surface. I'm sorry, he doesn't. I'm gonna be honest there. But the guy loves this business so damn much. And he has dedicated most of his career to passing on that love of the craft. And there's not a lot of people that there's not a lot of pro wrestlers that really can, let's just say most wrestlers who don't succeed that end up in a management role end up resenting the fact that they never had a successful run in the WWE or even anywhere, at this point. And yeah, and for those of you who don't know really who Pat Buck is, Pat Buck, when Cody Rhodes was going on his 10 opponent tour, the 10 people he wanted to wrestle one last time before AEW began, Pat Buck was at the top of that list. And Pat Buck, after all he's gone through, he's seen very few peaks in his career, but he's seen a lot of valleys. And the fact that the WWE saw enough in him to bring him back in and actually finally put him on TV in much less in a potentially attention grabbing storyline, an intergender storyline. It's there, Pat Buck is one of the hardest working men in this show business that you will not read about on any of the dirt sheets. And so much respect for Pat Buck. You know, huge part of my in-ring career, however short that was. And, you know, back in 2019 when I worked the WrestlePro vs. Impact Battle of Brooklyn show, Pat and I got back, we talked, we reminisced, and whatnot. And Oh man, it's just I'm just yeah. This
It's
this is
pretty bittersweet.
but Pat deserves the success he's having.
It'll be interesting how they continue this storyline with him and Nia Jax, and maybe it'll get him into maybe a higher profile storyline
Oh
as we go.
Pat's not gonna have a Pat's not gonna become a in ring talent.
But he
Consistent
could
in
work
ring
as
talent.
like a Pat Patterson or Gerald Briscoe, like in a stooge role.
Yeah, Pat's not so much a stooge. I could see Pat being a you know and when Ole Anderson after Ole Anderson retired type of thing, or Dusty Rhodes,
Hmm.
uh, even. But the logical ending for this Pat Buck Nia Jax storyline, you come on, you know where it's heading, James. You know, and don't tell me you don't, because you know it's gonna end with a wedding.
A wedding? A wedding between Pat Buck and Nia Jax?
They are they'll end up getting in a fight, and all of a sudden they'll realize they're so attracted to each
Oh
other
my
that
god!
we'll have a no contest by
Oh my
makeout
god!
session.
This isn't Cheers. This is pro wrestling. Damn it!
Really? You're expecting more than a soap opera.
You're right. um, I think we covered the high points of Raw this week. Um, Another interesting piece of news this week: The Rock bought the XFL. That came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Like I didn't realize it was cool to buy a company that perennially lost money.
Well, what I've
I
heard.
mean, technically, it's not it's not the Rock himself. It's the Rock as part of a consortium with, I forget what the name of the media group is, and then they bought it for $15 million. Well, at least now Vince knows what it's like to sell a company short.
Well, for what I heard, he's a co-owner. I still hear that Vince McMahon's involved. And the third part of that is it was supposed to go up for auction, and The Rock bought it like hours before it went for auction. So
That indicates to me that they weren't expecting that they weren't expecting many people to actually attempt to bid on it, or they were hearing that they weren't going to get a price they wanted.
that is a possibility. But
So yeah,
as stubborn as Vince McMahon is, I don't think he's ever going to let this XFL thing go. So maybe he called up The Rock and said, be part owner with me. We'll pick this up when we're able to again.
but do you really think Vince said, "Hey, Dwayne, I need you to buy the XFL for the time being"? Yeah, it's just 15 million. Yeah,
I mean, it's not
yeah,
like he doesn't have it laying around. He's the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
yeah. I mean, like and what's the purpose of it being sold off? Most likely to protect the intellectual property, which now makes more sense that Vince still believes in it. and thus would only make somebody he trusts inherently a majority owner.
It's going to be interesting how this unfolds, and whether we'll get in another XFL revival in 2021 or 22 or 23. It's going to happen eventually, is what this is kind of alluding to. You know what I mean?
By that time, it'll be paper football.
Seems like that's the kind of football we're playing now. uh, kind of people wrestling next on the news. Talking Shopomania was last Saturday. I know you heard about this, right, Scooter?
What was it?
Talking Shopomania with Gallows and Anderson. They did a paid preview.
I had no idea.
Oh my god, really? Yeah,
Dude,
so
I've been I I have not been. I've been out of the state. I have not. It's I know.
okay,
And,
well,
and if you ask anybody, I guarantee you, if they say yes, they're lying.
I don't know. Kaliko usually watches garbage like this. Um, I didn't actually watch it, but what I heard was that there was a boneyard match between Gallows and Anderson as their alter ego Sex Ferguson, and don't remember what Anderson's name was. I don't have it.
Chad, Chad, too bad.
Chad, too bad. Thank you very much. And
South, they used the intellectual property from Southpaw Regional.
yeah, and it ended with Sex Ferguson getting buried in a Jason mask.
And
Whatever you want
I
to
thought
do with
it
that.
was, it was Tex Ferguson. It
No,
was Tex
sex.
Ferguson. I don't fucking know anymore. Jesus.
Yeah. Interesting. The Young Bucks made an appearance. Brian Myers. I probably would pop. I would probably go out of my way to maybe check some highlights. Um, Something you don't want highlights of. Marty Jannetty possibly killed a man when
Oh
he was
God,
13 years old.
God! If things are like if you thought Marty Jannetty had already hit rock bottom, guess what? He's hit rock bottom in that rock bottom.
He hit rock bottom and then 10 feet of crap.
Like, what the hell is going on with Marty Jannetty that he felt the need to make this information public, at least for a couple of minutes? But that was enough for somebody to catch it and tweet it to the police.
Yeah. I don't know. He's like the opposite Shawn Michaels. Like he did not. Well, Shawn Michaels got out of the drug addiction and that bad crew type thing. It seemed like Marty Jannetty dove deeper into it.
Yeah, but at the same time, Jannetty also found Jesus.
But then he didn't he renounce his religion afterwards.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell Marty Jannetty did. Marty Jannetty
Was that
just
pre sleeping with his daughter or after?
oh God. Oh,
Yeah.
it's that's
It's just this is what we're talking about in 2020. Yeah. A bit of good news, I suppose, however you see it. Taynara Conti signed with AEW, and Rachel Ellering, it will be a part of the tag team tournament
And
as well.
yes, and she will also. She's just been announced for the next edition of AEW Dark.
Um, you know, we talked about this last week about is AEW just taking scraps from WWE at this point?
At this point, who? At this point, who isn't a scrap? You know that's it's both a fair and unfair assessment at the same time because at this point, who hasn't worked for the WWE in some capacity? It's like, and especially at this point, you can't go around saying, "Oh, we're scouting all the independents."
True.
You literally can't because right now, the talent pool consists of people that have been released from the top three.
Right.
Like, and yeah, and by the way, yes, I did in fact call was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I did call Zack Ryder, now known by his real name, Matt Cardona, to AEW.
Yeah, and Mitch Mitch has been saying that since the day he got fired. Um, but that's a different, you know, that's a different situation with Matt Cardona. The only reason he's there is because he has a relationship with Cody. And
Yeah,
now they're just saying, "Oh no, it's just a 5 appearance deal." That's bullshit. If he is
and
signed by AEW right now. He is not going
because
anywhere.
because he would have gone with he, he would have gone to Impact. I honestly think he probably had a better chance of being world champion in Impact.
I disagree. I think we've seen all we could possibly see from Matt Cardona. I don't think that he brings anything new or interesting to the table that would give him that. Brian Myers, I don't think we've scratched the surface with that guy. And I think that it's a really good investment to see what he may do in Impact Wrestling if he could become a world champion. But Zack Ryder, I don't think so. What say you?
Well, I thought I just did. Um, I mean, Matt Cardona in AEW. He. I mean, he's already been shoehorned into, Cody's latest, running buddy. So at this point, it's a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, but when they will have Cody get turned on by yet somebody else and make Cody the eternal babyface. The only way anything will surprise me is if Cody turns on him.
Right. This would be the cue for a Mitch Mayhem rant. um,
No, no,
but
no. Can I say something? Can I say something? Can I say something? Can I say something? What was the question again?
um, you said that everybody is a WWE scrap. Um, Going back to Conti and Ellering. And it is a fair assessment that it's not a fair assessment. Kenny Omega was WWE at one point. Jericho, Moxley. But I could also make the argument that those are three really big superstars that any company would be chomping at the bit to try and sign. But when you got, glorified enhancement talent like Conti, and Ellering, then you're just trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. You kind of understand where I'm going with that?
Yeah, like it's like they're trying to say, oh, they're going to try to prove that their loss, the WWE's loss, is their gain,
Right.
and that's why the WWE ain't signing anybody and won't be signing anybody. I At this point, I'm probably going to say till at least 2022.
Well, that brings us to our next bit of news. WWE signs Anthony Green and Leo Ruff.
Yeah, that's right. Leon Ruff and Anthony Creed from the now defunct Evolve.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now,
So,
okay, all right. This situation is the exception to the rule.
yeah, you do that backpedaling.
Only because the Evolve has been essentially in the WWE's, you know, pocket. They've said, ever since they worked out the, whatever deal it was, they've essentially been, an undeclared WWE, development.
Right.
So, yeah, um, so
I mean, you get the talent when you buy the company.
yeah, of course you get you buy the company. Of course, you're gonna get the talent. It wouldn't surprise me if when WWE acquired Evolve, if they rewrote their contracts, if they even had contracts, they probably made them sign contracts where they can option them to, you know, sign if they so desire, you know, or they were released outright.
Leo Russ, excuse me,
Leon
Leon
Leon Ruff
Ruff.
Ruff
they, they
Ruff.
look the,
The dog goes Ruff.
yeah, Leon Ruff's been enhancement talent for quite a couple of months now for WWE.
Yep,
So
that is true.
he's
Yes.
already been there, but Anthony Green would be completely new to the environment.
So you would say he's quite green.
Yes, this is true.
Ha ha!
That joke of the night. Um, Going back to the AEW, this week on Dynamite, we had an appearance by Eric Bischoff.
Oh,
Kind of fun, but interesting to see
I,
what AEW's
yeah.
coming up with.
It was. I will say it was kind of like. I wish it's what the WWE did. I wish it was what the WWE could have done with Bischoff and Jericho, with the resentment that Jericho has towards Eric Bischoff.
Right.
You know,
I'm assuming you saw the segment.
I I didn't I didn't watch it in full. I I saw bits and pieces and then went back over it. It was the Jericho and Bischoff. They got along. They Jericho and Bischoff, consummate professionals. No matter if they hate somebody, they'll still work with them.
Right.
Uh, uh, and you know, I'm honestly not even sure if Jericho and Bischoff even still hate each other after all these years.
I
If
don't
they
think so. I think it's water under the bridge. But
yeah. Um, but you know, even Stevie Wonder's saw the fact that he was going to call it for Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Orange Cassidy, but at the end, that whole segment was pretty garbage until Orange Cassidy got serious and actually called Jericho out on his shit. And this should have been like years down the line, not like six
And
months after your debut. But
you
I guess
know,
they're making
I think this was this would be one of those moments in pro wrestling where, what should we call it? Let's call it the Kofi effect.
Kofi.
The Kofi Kingston effect,
Okay.
where if there was a crowd that Cassidy actually you know speaking like that for the first time and everything, and actually it probably would have been one of those moments that resulted in a huge surge in popularity on social media.
I think that if it was in an arena, it would have blew the roof off of it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree because the one that's the one mystery about Orange Cassidy. That's the one thing that's intriguing about him is when is he going to talk and what is he going to have to say, and you don't want to blow that moment.
Right.
And while you know the segment was garbage up until that point, you know the that essentially redeemed it.
Oh,
Oh, maybe not.
absolutely.
Yeah, but you know we
It was a
and now
bullshit segment that actually went somewhere.
and now we should start to see a different Orange Cassidy.
Right. And
Like he's supposed to have a a match with Jericho
yeah, next week.
next week. He's got to do more than just keep his hands in his pockets. And you know what? I'm even gonna go for a bold prediction here. I'm gonna say we're gonna see Orange Cassidy in actual wrestling gear.
Ooh, interesting. That'll definitely be
Because
maybe something to say that he means business.
because let's face it, Chris Jericho has really no reason, at least until after that point, to take Orange Cassidy seriously as an opponent
Right.
and underestimating. And that I gotta say that's the one thing AEW really does good is making is making underdogs, credible and showing that they're underestimated but can defy those, you know, those, you know, you know expectations that they'll never amount to anything. It's one of the things I think AEW does really well. And Orange Cassidy probably, isn't taking this, opportunity for granted. He probably knows that this is probably going to be the highlight of his career. And if I was Orange Cassidy, I'd want to pull out everything I possibly could. I would want to be more than just what the fans see of me. I would want them to see that I can do more than just, you know, do a plancha with my hands in my pocket. Ooh, I could be dangerous, but can I legit win a wrestling match without, with my hands out of my pockets? It's interesting, and it's it's a hook that would probably make me watch AEW over NXT this coming week.
Huh, interesting. And that's actually a great segue into our next bit of news. AEW
Oh,
beat NXT this week in the ratings. They also beat Raw and SmackDown. What is this a feather in AEW's cap, or is it just the sad state WWE is in right now?
I think it's the sad state the world is in right now, not WWE. It's quite honestly, I think the ratings they mean everything and nothing at this point. So, at why try competing for ratings and just try to put on a good show? Who gives a crap if you're gonna lose it, losing the ratings at this point in time with the way the world is? Who really is gonna care? It's I mean, sponsors, are not lining up, at the bit and whatnot. It's like if either AEW or WWE just decided to just say screw the ratings, we probably see better overall programming from both companies.
Well, the thing about NXT, it doesn't seem like NXT, they go for that ratings boost. They go that extra mile to try and do anything. It seems like all they're trying to do is put on a good wrestling product. Obviously, Raw and SmackDown is absolutely not that way. But, to your point, NXT goes up against AEW. I think that they put on a good product that isn't trying to grab ratings, but somehow they're still losing in the ratings. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
So, kind of in a way, yeah, you're right. Rating. Why are we talking about ratings in 2020? It seems, we get our TV time from the internet now. So, is it a really relevant thing to talk about?
I mean, eventually the entire rating system will be overhauled, and there'll be some sort of new system in place. The Nielsen, rating system will, be a dinosaur, and I can tell you that there is definitely something uh, being worked on that would group all all viewing methods into one lump rating system.
Alright?
And but other than that, I don't know any more about that.
Some we went from good news for AEW to maybe possibly some heat. It's rumored that Excalibur will be returning for commentary next week with absolutely no repercussions from, that promo he did 15 years ago. And, Kaliko was pretty hot about it last week, saying, you know, don't tell me that you're better than the other companies and banning Hulk Hogan for using racial slurs when your guys up and do it too. What are your thoughts on the matter?
I mean, hypocrisy is hypocrisy any way you slice it, and yeah, the demons of the past don't stay buried forever, and it's you know he probably should consider himself fortunate that there's not a crowd.
Well, let me ask you this. Does time heal all wounds? Because, Sammy said some bad things 5 years ago, and he got hit with an indefinite suspension that lasted 30 days. Excalibur will be on a 2 week, I don't want to say suspension, but just hiatus.
I also I also kind of don't believe in punishing someone for the mistakes of their past.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, is it fair that AEW is caving to the pressure, essentially, of the social justice stuff? Like now, I'll admit I haven't heard. I honestly, I'll admit I didn't even know about this Excalibur promo.
Oh, absolutely not.
I don't
Because
remember it. I don't.
cause people just want to dig up old shit to try and hurt people. That's what they get off on. You know what I mean?
Uh, I mean, you know, like, and I hate to bring this up as an example, but Paige, is the best example of this. And quite frankly, Paige did a lot worse while she was under contract. Now, I really don't think it's fair to penalize somebody for in a company that it didn't exist for something he did 15 years ago. Now, if they were announcing that Marty Jannetty was going to be on commentary,
It would
I'd
be
have
a
a problem
different
with
story.
that.
I mean, he does kill motherfuckers. He's in a group of
At this point, we're going to be hard pressed to find a wrestler that doesn't kill motherfuckers at this point.
true. AW
I
might
mean,
be killing their audience on August 19th. Yeah, what you want?
well, oh yeah, that also reminds me. We might be. I don't want to. I don't want to. I wanted to wait for a segue, but
All right. Well, I think this this is the best time as any. Sure.
well, we might end up witnessing the death of we actually might end up witnessing the death of an NXT employee at Takeover 30 because it's now official. Adam Cole will take on Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Oh God! Oh my God! I don't know whether to laugh, cry, or hope Adam Cole just kills him.
Well, we've been covering this story for the last, what, 2, 3 weeks? You, everybody knew that this was kind of a walk and not a shoot.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody expected it to actually lead to a match.
No, definitely not. But
Like,
isn't Pat McAfee like the perfect heel? He just oozes hate, right?
yeah, but Adam Cole isn't a face.
That is true.
So what
But
is this? A battle of two assholes? It's a proctologist's dream.
well, Kaliko would probably make the argument that Adam Cole was always a face. That that's how the fans view him.
Okay, I will concede to that argument for the time being.
But going to what you were saying about Pat Pat McAfee, do you actually see him putting on a match with Adam Cole? Do you see him, performing? I'm not saying, a 36-star match in the Tokyo Dome.
Well, I mean, people are probably expecting Cole to, hit him with, a Panama Sunrise in the last shot, and that's it. But given the fact that this is supposed to be the rumor that breaks up the Undisputed Era,
Which is just a rumor.
it's just a rumor at this point. Um, I mean, I don't know, and I, 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 I I'm not even sure. Uh, it also it also now I'm not sure if this has been discounted or not, but with with SummerSlam 2 weeks from Sunday. Now I heard that the WWE is planning to do another pay-per-view 3 weeks from Sunday.
Yeah,
They're planning to do Payback on August 30th.
yeah. We talked about that last week. We kind of thought it was gonna be like, the rumors was that it was Evolution 2. Not the case. It's kind of like this Tuesday in Texas feel.
I mean, yeah, it's the night before, my 36th birthday, so uh,
Happy birthday.
but it's it's like I don't understand what they're planning to do and what they're hoping to accomplish.
Do you think that doesn't actually? Well, that takes us into our next bit of news. SummerSlam has supposedly they have settled on a location. It's going to be happening. There's rumors that it's in New Jersey. Nothing's been confirmed at this point. There's a possibility of there being a live crowd. Um, so does WWE have a plan here, or do you think that they're just shooting from the hip?
I mean, yeah, uh, they're they're not gonna they're not gonna get an arena in the way they want it. They don't want an arena. They want a crowd. They're not gonna get it, and Vince is trying to loophole his way, around the mandated laws. Like, does he not? Um, Vince does not realize. If his talent is going from Florida to New Jersey, they gotta stay in New Jersey. They gotta stay in New Jersey for 2 weeks, which actually, now that I think about it, could explain the payback event.
Oh, okay.
Now that I think about that's the logical explanation for payback. Doesn't make it a good one, but it's still.
Well, I mean, this is the first time WWE's encountered something like this. And and it's not the first time Vince McMahon has tried to get uh find loopholes to do his shows. You know what I mean?
Like, why not? Why not, like, do it from the set of where they had the Adam Cole Velveteen Dream match? Why not do it on the back lot there?
I don't.
Make it real, like, outdoorsy, like SummerSlam '92.
Why they were trying to do it on last time we reported was on either a beach or a boat. Um,
Oh God.
and now we're talking about doing it in an arena in New Jersey. So rumors are swirling left and right here. It kind of seems like the story gets changed every single day at this point. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, and maybe we might actually get a good WWE show out of it.
Uh, God, I don't know, but I'm about to buy 4-day combo tickets. Oh wait, the event's been canceled. Dang it.
Some bad news for, and this will be our last bit of news. AEW will be preempted on August 19th, August 26th, and September 16th for basketball. And
Dang sports ball.
we talked about this when AEW first debuted, that this was inevitable. Um, but on the 19th, they're getting preempted to the 22nd, which is a Saturday. The 26th and September 16th, they're preempted to the next day, which is a Thursday. Um,
Well,
this isn't a good sign for AEW, is it, Scooter?
well, it depends. If I were AEW, I would want to plan a special show for that Saturday. I would try to, try to invoke that old feeling of, how it felt to be a wrestling fan watching Saturday night's main event, or how it was to be, or how it was to feel, you know, some of my best, some of the best, my best memories as a kid is, playing outside all day on Saturday, and then making sure I was home by 6:05 to watch WCW Saturday Night. Back when WCW Saturday Night actually meant something. And the and also back in the the early days, the Fox years of Saturday Night's main event, were also something that was like was it's just
You think they maybe dropped the ball by doing Fight for the Fallen and Fighter Fest so soon and so close together?
yeah, that was probably a very bad mistake. And I mean, quite honestly, I'm not sure if I blame them for, I guess, wanting to get those events out of the way and off the calendar,
That's kind of
just
how
so they
it's felt.
just so they can focus on the TV they're producing. Because I I think those were the last events they had scheduled that were officially on the books before everything went into lockdown.
Only All Out is going to be in September.
Uh, you know, I just hope that this doesn't have to be a hindrance for AEW. It can be an advantage if they just know how to do it.
That's actually a really good analogy. Uh, but what I was alluding to was that when does Monday Night Raw come on? Well, Mondays. When does Friday Night SmackDown come on? Well, Fridays. Uh, some people might be tuning in on Wednesdays to see Dynamite, and it's not going to be there. And they're
Um,
not going to
but,
go out of their way to look for it down the line, whether it be a Saturday or even the next day at that point.
well, this is why they need to probably jump on this now and schedule it. Get it out there. A special. Like they've been doing the women's tag team cup tournament.
YouTube.
On Mon- on Monday nights.
And I dare to say nobody actually knows
Yeah,
about that.
nobody was going to watch it to begin with. Not because it's women, not because just because nobody. It wasn't elaborate or elaborated enough to get anyone to care, and it's a shame because I love the lethal lottery concept.
The what? The Lethal
The Yeah,
Lottery, yeah.
yeah, I love the lethal lottery concept. That was probably my most favorite WCW event. And I mean, it's just it's a wait and see thing at this point. I mean, I do, and I think this will probably be a good place to end it. We'll see which con will reign supreme, as now both AEW and now WWE are run by a con.
And that will conclude our show this week. If you like us, please like, subscribe, comment both on YouTube and Castbox. It's greatly appreciated. And if you want to join in on the conversation, you can find me at JamesJ993. Where can they find Scooter Dust?
You can find me. You can follow me at Scooter Dust at UNBS Wrestling. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Don't follow me in real life. Subscribe if you haven't subscribbled.
Are you Scooter Dust on Instagram and Facebook as well?
I am the real Scooter Dust on Instagram, except no imitations.
Oh, well, you're the real Scooter Dust. So there's imitators out there.
Oh, you have no idea.
We'll try and get Kaliko and Mitch Mayhem back next week. If they're not, we we should be concerned and we should start that missing persons form. Until then,
They're
for
locked in the basement.
you heard it here. Somebody tweeted to the police.
I left them by the river,
Right next to Marty Jannetty's guy.
right next to the chick from that Richard Marx song.
For Kaliko Yachts, Mitch Mayhem, Scooter Dust, I am James J. And this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Like sort of here it is in a nutshell.